In today's Razorback Daily, QB1, Taylen Green is on the show to discuss his mindset and more heading into his second season on the Hill. It's Monday, August 18th, 2025. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man Matt Zimmerman. You're listening to the Razorback Daily.
All right, folks, here we are on this Monday. Hopefully you had an outstanding, safe, and nice weekend. Our non-football weekends, that's another one in the books. We don't have very many of them left. And by my mathematics, we have only one more non-Razorback football weekend. That's this upcoming weekend at the end of this week. Quinn Grovey, you talk about Christmas at the Grovey house. We've only got one weekend left, and the Arkansas Razorbacks are playing 12 football games with a couple bye weeks mixed in there. But it is so close now, Quinn. We are under 2 weeks. Quinn Grovey, how are you?
I'm excited. I mean, It's just, look, this past month and a half is probably the worst time for me. Like the TV, there's nothing to watch. I don't like baseball. I try to
watch
get my
more
football
MLB
fix.
baseball this time of year than I do all year because there ain't nothing else
Really?
going on. There ain't nothing
Well, I know more about Canadian football than I really want to know. I watch a lot of Canadian football, and in fact, Keon Hatcher is over there tearing it up in the Canadian Football League. So,
Really?
oh,
Good
he's
to
making
know.
it happen. Yeah, I mean, he's done it for a long time over there. But yeah, that's where I'm at. But it's time. I mean, when we get past this window and you start seeing, inside training camp and all kinds of stuff that ESPN and NFL Network is doing, and then all the stuff that Tara and Hogs Plus is doing, football is right here. There's no turning back. You just now that you got here, you just relax and you soak up every single hour. I don't care if it's that 11:30 p.m. Hawaii versus San Jose State game. You put it on and you watch it and you enjoy it. And but yeah, it's time, man. I'm excited, and so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely. And with our current quarterback, Quinn, and you've talked about him so much. We've all talked about him, and he deserves all that. We have great expectations of folks tonight on hogsplus.com. Go check this out. This is the final episode. It's been good. I've watched the other two. They were really, really good. So here tonight on Monday night is the final episode of Taylen Green, Next Level. And that's what he's trying to do this year. That's been their motto. That's what next level, doing things better, taking this team to the next level, him being a next level quarterback. I love the title of that documentary, but go check that out tonight on Hogs Plus. It's very well done. The Hogs Plus team put a lot of time into it. So go check that out. And as always, we appreciate you subscribing. If you don't, folks, go on there. Hogsplus.com, $7.99 a month. You get some great stuff like this Taylen Green special. We're going to have a great visit here with Taylen Green as we've been doing throughout this latter part of the summer and into camp. Quinn, we talk about the greatest Razorbacks to play that position. We've been getting comments about who we didn't mention in the tight ends and in the running backs. And we had cornerbacks, which was a kind of a little bit of a tougher one. But we got quarterbacks here, Quinn Grovey. You are one of the all-time greats. Tara, do you think Quinn is a top 10 or top 5 or top 50 quarterback at Arkansas?
That is a trick question, Z. You're trying to set me up here.
I am. I thought you'd give us a
Quinn's
clue.
the best. Quinn's the top 5 for sure.
Top 5? Oh my goodness!
Z knows that's true. He's just messing around. He's messing. I mean, look, I'm a remove myself from this conversation because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything like that. But I mean, if you like to win football games, I would be in consideration.
Oh, here you go.
I'm just saying.
I agree with that. There's something to be said for winning. That's what it's all about. That's why you play. So, folks, you can message us on anything, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and you can say, hey, because you listen to the Daily, you should have an opinion. about the rankings. I'm going to give, since you're a listener, you go ahead and shoot them out there. Quinn can handle it. He's tough skin. Obviously, one of the winningest and one of the best quarterbacks to ever play at Arkansas is Quinn Grovey for sure. Quinn, I'm going to let you have the floor. The greats. There's so many great Razorback quarterbacks. Who are you talking about?
Well, I mean, Bill Montgomery is Well, first I think you got to start with Fred. He's the one who won the national championship.
Yeah, Fred Marshall.
I mean, you got a guy that's been to the pinnacle. He's won a national championship. I think you got to give Freddie Marshall all the credit in the world. And then you got Bill Montgomery. I mean, he's the winningest quarterback in school history. I mean, yeah, I'm one game or two games behind him. But Bill was fantastic. Bill was absolutely awesome. And so when you talk about winning football games, that's those two guys are right up there. And then when you want to talk about just dynamic, when you talk about dynamic, you got to talk Matt Jones. I mean,
oh man,
I don't know if I've ever seen a guy that can operate the way that he does, as big as he is. The guy was just flat out awesome. And then, of course, you got to love with the resurgence when Bobby Petrino got here and Ryan Mallett and Tyler with what they did. One of my favorites, all-time favorites, is Clint Sterner. He's one of my favorites. He's one of the toughest. It's just so much heart. I mean, I just enjoyed watching him play so much. So, you can go back to the old Scott Bulls and all that as well. But I'm always going to start with Freddie Marshall for a guy who won a national championship, and then Bill Montgomery, who has won more games than anybody in school history. And I mean, your list can fall anywhere after that.
Yeah, no, those are really good. That's a great list, man. We so much with Ryan. Ryan will be going into the Razorback Hall of Honor. Clint going into the Razorback Hall of Honor. Matt is already in the Hall of Honor. Fred Marshall is. Bill Montgomery. How about I tell you another one?
Didn't I say I wasn't going to participate in that conversation? And then
you did, but that's okay.
Rundown.
But you did. Well, we made it easy on you. You didn't have to rank them or nothing. It was just a love fest. Quinn, another one that I love. The first quarterback I remember as a kid was Ron Cal Cagney.
Ooh, love Cal.
He did a lot of good stuff. He's coached youth and junior high and different levels of high school, everything down in Central Arkansas. Ron Cal Cagney, Youngstown, Ohio, great quarterback at Arkansas. His brother also came here and played quarterback. Joe Ferguson, Quinn. The winning was not quite the level we had been kind of used to at Arkansas, but Joe Ferguson was a gunslinger, right?
Man, that guy could flat throw the football, man. I mean, he only played in the NFL longer than any Arkansas quarterback ever. I mean, I think it was like 18 years with Buffalo, and
he played with OJ. Detroit. OJ was his running back.
That's right. And so Joe's one of the best people out there. And I mean, for me, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out my guy Martin Lamont, who was actually the first black quarterback at Arkansas. And so, Martin and I have become good friends as well, and we've had him on the Razorback Daily. And so that's really cool as well. But you just got to love all the Arkansas quarterbacks, and it's a special fraternity. I am so thankful that the good Lord blessed me and gave me the opportunity to be one of the quarterbacks here, and I don't take that for granted.
No, I know you don't, and you mentioned that a lot. And we had Brandon and Austin. Brandon's NFL years, mostly all backup. Brandon Allen's years have really clicked. A big, strong, big guy. Throw the football. He's had a lot of years in the National Football League.
He's got the best job on the planet. Yeah. The best job on the planet is the backup quarterback. And in the NFL, they're not cheering for you for the backup as much as they are in college.
Yeah.
If you can make yourself a backup quarterback, if you can become a backup quarterback in NFL and be one of those solid guys, not a dude, not just a jag, not just a guy, but a guy that can, that if my starter goes down, we can win a couple of games until that starter gets back. That's where Brandon Allen is. And he won't ever be a starter, but he'll be in the NFL a long time. He's already been in the NFL a long time. And so that says a lot about what he's doing. And he's got the best, absolutely one of the best jobs that you can imagine, being a backup quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And Greg Thomas, who was right before you. Greg came out of Texas and was a
Mm-hmm.
good quarterback at Arkansas for sure, and a fighter and a tough, strong guy. And last one for me, Quinn. He's one of our bosses at the Razorback Foundation. He's the president of the Razorback Foundation Board of Directors. We're going to give him a
That,
shout out. I think he was the
hey,
SEC Player of the Year, maybe.
Southwest Conference Player of the
I
Year.
mean,
You're right. You
Southwest Conference Player of the
you
Year. Go ahead.
you cannot leave Kevin Scanlon off that list. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about it. I mean, when you're the Player of the Year in the conference,
yeah,
that says a lot. I mean, he was willing and dealing, and all he's done is stayed in this state, done fantastic things with Stevens. He helps us at the Razorback Foundation in a big way
yeah.
on our board, and so Kevin Scanlon is a Razorback through and through. And I can still see him running down that line, doing a little shake and bake, and running Lou Holtz's veer. He made a lot of plays happen. And Kevin Scanlon, you're right, he is one of the best out there. You cannot leave him off the list when you start talking about some of the best quarterbacks, because you don't have a lot of quarterbacks that's been all. I mean, that's won. I mean, the Player of the Year at the end of the season.
Yeah,
That says a lot, man. And that's when
yeah.
the Southwest Conference was really, really nasty. I mean,
Yes.
and so for him to be able to make that happen, shout out to Kevin Scanlon.
Yeah. When he got here coming from NC State, Lou Holtz era, and he was banged up, he was hurt, and then he was playing behind Cal Cagney. So he only had that one shining season, that 1 year to be the starter. And man, you talk about, I think it was one, wasn't it? I think
Yeah.
he had one. And he had a tremendous success in that one season. We went to the Sugar Bowl. So that's some great quarterbacks, so many great quarterbacks. And we didn't mention you. Good thought. I mean, I think of Coach Fayetteville High School, Casey Dick. So there's so many. It's an honor to be the starting quarterback at Arkansas. And on down the line, we can't wait for the next one. Home is more important than ever, and Arvest Bank is here to help you with all of your home loan needs for a new home, a refinance, or maybe just making improvements to your current home. Get started today at arvest.com/home for me. Equal housing lender, all loans subject to credit approval. All right, folks, here we are back on the Razorback Daily. Thanks, as always, for joining us. We know you love your Razorbacks, and you're going to love us getting to talk to your star quarterback. He had a tremendous first year with the Razorbacks. Quinn, I know you've been all fired up to get to talk to him again. Taylen Green's back on the Daily. Taylen, welcome back.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Hey, no pressure. We just want you to play every single game like the Liberty Bowl. No questions.
Oh, and that's my standard too, and that's where Coach Petrino's holding me to. So I'm all for it.
Well, let's go back to that. I know that's in the house and in the books, but man, you were incredible in that game. And by the way, we're going to go back there and play in that same stadium to play the Tigers. But what a great win that was over Tech. And you were there was other guys that were outstanding. Tesla, so many big plays. But talk about your memories of that night in Memphis.
I mean, honestly, that was one of my favorite moments in my college career. I kind of put it over Tennessee, just as a team, in the bowl weeks, and you're always with the team in the hotel, and go do bowl activities, and going to the mall and just hanging out, with my teammates and my brothers. So being able to finish it like we did. And the young guys stepping up, and their first, someone was like their first reps in the game, and Kobe, shout out to Kobe. He was looking really, really good in that game, and all the young players, CJ Brown stepped up, and it was really good. I know I played all my stats and stuff, but I wouldn't be able to do it without my whole team, whether that's the O-line, the receivers, tight ends, and especially the defense getting the turnovers when they did. So I know on the stat books say what I did, but I wouldn't be able to do it without my teammates.
Yeah, Taylor, you were off the charts. I was going crazy up there in the booth calling that game. I loved it. It was awesome. I mean, I absolutely flat out loved it. But I tell you what, I'm like you. I know Tennessee was a big win, huge win. But for you personally, I mean, to be able to go to a bowl game And Andrew Armstrong is not there. I mean, this is the guy that you relied upon the entire season. I thought that game was really, really big for you, that Liberty Bowl, simply because the younger guys had to step up and everything was just really explosive that night.
For sure. I love, that you say the versatility and what Andrew Armstrong, could do. He was my security blanket. Anytime I, had a question, find where two is, and he's gonna catch the ball, and that's one of the reasons why I love going to Andrew. I know he's gonna do great things in Miami. I mean, he still calls me and I call him, check in, every now and then, and and it was great, and like you said, didn't have that weapon out there, and then forced me to go through my progressions and to keep the game, and trust the game plan of my reads. So like we said in the first part, that's the standard, and I gotta do it every single game, and that's the biggest thing, is just consistency in my part.
But that kind of kicked you off for this season as well, because simply, I mean, you're the quarterback. I mean, you're going to have to make sure all those guys really understand what's going on. So I got to believe that that's going to help you bring this group along, because you got a bunch of new guys again.
Definitely. I'm glad I don't got to go through the transfer portal process again, because it was very, very hectic, and but at the same time grateful for it. But like I tell everybody that came in, I was just in their shoes, trying to figure out the culture and just how we do things and day-to-day activities, not just playbook wise, but how our strength staff works out, how getting around campus is like, and the things like the small things that people don't realize. And I remember just the other day, like, I'm driving around, I don't have to use Google Maps or Apple Maps no more. And when I first got here, that's all I was doing, trying to ask people where they eat and all that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely cool to be back for a second year, and just to be that leader, and that's people can depend on. So I'm definitely blessed to have that.
Well, there's been so much talk, the importance, obviously, of getting you back, and with all your experience, a fifth-year player, Coach Petrino coming back. You've talked about that. You were great at SEC Media Day and talking about that. But Quinn, Quinn and I were talking about this the other day. You got almost 7,000 yards in your career. That is incredible. And then I just love to watch you run. And I know you got to throw it. You're the quarterback. My favorite thing is watching you run and all the yards. Quinn, he had 1,600 in a career. You're going to go well over 2,000 yards. You're going to get a bunch of yards this year. But you're the best going right. I love you going right. And every time you go right, I'm like, man, something's fixing to happen. And you talk about Taylen Green running to his right and going right at coming out of that pocket.
I mean, honestly, it's just instinct. I've been doing it since I was, a youngin'. And my dad always jokes around. When I was in Pee Wee, I always used to go right and just circle the corner and run, or try to throw it as far as I can if a receiver's down there deep. So that's what I've been doing since I was a youngin'. And I know Coach Petrino's and we're working on mixing it up, going right and going left. So so the defense doesn't pick up on those things. So.
What about my man from Mississippi State? I know he's a fine young man, but he's always been on video a lot. You need to find that guy, give him a hug, man. That was a great move in Starkville, buddy.
Oh, appreciate it. I see some of the highlights on it, and that game was definitely one to remember also. But I can't make that move without Andrew Armstrong and his block. And that's one of the reasons why. Another reason why I love Andrew is selfless. If it's a run, he's gonna try to pancake. He's gonna try to make the block. Because receiver blocks in the run game are touchdown blocks, and those are just as important as O-line blocking. So,
last one for Quinn. The Auburn game too. Now we were winning and playing, but I love when you scramble around at Auburn. We do that touchdown pass down there.
I learned a lot from Auburn.
Yeah. That was awesome play,
For
man.
sure, yeah. I learned a lot from hurdling to protecting myself to stop being in the air. So I
Oh
If
learned a
you
lot.
man.
Yeah, if you remember that game, Andrew early on he got crushed
He
over
got
there on us, and I thought,
depleted
well, yeah, and he came right back.
right back. That just speaks to, who he is as a player. He's gonna do anything that it takes to win. And when the ball's in the air, he's gonna put his body on the line and just, as a quarterback, you love those things. And I have full trust. I have full trust in him, and that's why kept the ball kept going to him. He's gonna do, and especially what people don't realize, he works like that in practice too. He's gonna catch a slant and run 60, 70 yards to the touchdown, and then that just feeds off on the whole team, and the whole team just starts doing that. The running backs start doing it, tight ends and receivers. So I know he's in Miami right now, but his and the way he led this team, it's going to be missed. And I have to pick up where he left off. And so I got big shoes to fill. So.
I love it, and I love that Z brought up that guy from Mississippi State. We talked about that in the all staff meeting when I interviewed you in front of everybody in the athletic department staff meeting. Like very rarely can you juke a guy at this level once. You put that guy in the blender twice. I mean, just boom, 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 and I just got to the end zone. Flat out loved it. One of the best plays I saw all year. I went crazy when I was calling that one as well. So that was great. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was, Taylen, you got an opportunity to go to the Manning Passing Academy. And that's one of the big things out there when you talk about quarterbacks. What was that like being there with all those guys?
It was really cool to see. Not just, of course, we're all competitors. We're going to see, how people throw it and, how you compare it to, others. Because really that's who we're going against, in the combines and the NFL draft process and things like that. So it was good to see. But more importantly, it was really cool to see how we all bonded, all, share stories of what it's like at, our schools or, different games. As a quarterback, you always remember that one hard hit, and we was talking, and we always like talking about that, and of course, the Mannings and what they did in the league and their impact on football and just picking their brains in the meeting rooms. It was definitely a cool experience, and it means a lot.
So, Taylen, I mean, you're with Bobby Petrino, one of the best offensive minds out there, but y'all got a chance to sit down with those two guys and talk ball and watch film and strategy like that. I mean, was there anything you were able to pick up from them? I mean, do they look at things a little bit differently? Did they give you something to kind of take back that you can just add to what Coach Petrino is giving you in regards to trying to find an advantage on Saturday?
I mean, when people do it at the high level, just like, Coach Petrino and the Mannings, you take little bits and pieces of everything. And, the biggest thing, how he, broke down film, similar, to Coach Petrino in the game week. He's like right after a Sunday night game, he's watching film on the next team, right after the game, and everybody sees, the picture of him in the helmet in the ice tub, and him going through like his reads and stuff. So that's just the dedication that I saw, similar to Coach Petrino and the Manning. So,
Taylen, we got to visit with Omega Blake. We talked to a lot of the guys, but in visiting with Omega, we were talking about him. He's a deep threat, and that's what he does. Sure. And he's at even was South Carolina or Charlotte. He that's what he showed to be able to do. And so Coach Petrino's talked a lot this offseason. I was at football last Thursday. I went through there, and he was talking about having more big plays, and that way he has to call less plays overall. He likes to always joke about that. But Omega and the receivers, you've got a lot of options, and I know you're excited about those guys.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I, talked about in media day. I love talking about the receivers and just the diversity that they bring, especially Omega in the deep threat. And every single time I throw a deep ball, he's like, bro, just put some air under and let me run under it. And, yeah, and that's, you already know, hearing that as a quarterback, you love hearing that, don't have to place the ball, just, let them go get it. and he's gonna go get it. And I see it, multiple times, whether we're running routes on air or whether in spring ball, and that's just what I'm excited about is just having that deep threat. Whether it's a go, a post, a comeback, something. And he also can do the slants, the short, intermediate, and take it to the house too. So that's what I love about Omega, and especially with Coach Petrino and his aggressiveness, play calling, and the trust that he has in me to make the right decision.
Hey, Taylor, you've played in some loud stadiums. There's no doubt about it. But Fayetteville is really good, really cool. It just hits differently. What is it going to be like again? I mean, look, football season is here, man. It's
For sure.
you get another opportunity, and what is it going to be like running out of that A in Fayetteville for the game one of the season?
It's going to mean something different, this time. Of course, it's my second year, but it's my last year, as a senior, and just taking everything in. But at the same time, not trying to make things bigger than what it is. And I have a job to do, and my job is to win football games and put my best ball out there, and just to give everything that I got. Not just for me, for my teammates, but for the state and for the fans. So that's what I plan to do. Not even the first game, but right now and in fall camp. So I'm excited.
It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait
It's
till
going to be electric.
It's going to be electric. I can't wait till August 30th, and of course, we got great home games, and the road games are going to be awesome as well. We're going to go. This just feels like a team that can surprise a lot of people, Taylen, that can shock some folks, and we got to go do it. The talk doesn't matter, but got to do it. But you got to love how you feel right now with confidence in your team. I can see it in you.
Oh, definitely. That's what you feel in the locker room. How that's what you feel in practice in the weight room. We were joking around like, Coach Souders, how's this lifting these heavy weights, and you get under the bar and you like, I don't know if I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. But you have your brothers, your teammates right next to you, cheering you on, and that makes the biggest difference. I'm like, he has trusted me that I'm gonna lift this weight, so I got no choice but to lift this weight, and it carries it on to the football field, and there's the trust that the O line has in the receivers, and vice versa. And you see uh, the O line talking to the receivers. It's not just sectioned off,
Yeah.
like everybody's talking to everybody. And that's what makes good teams great. And that's what I'm excited to see, especially during the season and in the fourth quarter, because that's where these games are won, especially in this conference, is in the fourth quarter.
Hey, TG, man, I've seen you make many plays with your legs. I've seen you make many plays with your arm. But when you look at this offseason, you've had a year in the SEC. Yep. Where have you grown the most? What do you feel like is going to be the biggest improvement for Taylen Green?
I would say my prep, just knowing what to expect. There's this similar or the same, defensive coordinator seeing, of course, it's going to be different looks, but, defensive coordinators have, their tendencies and what they do on first, second, third down, and knowing how to break down film. And, we just got this VR headset thing. We just tried it out. It's game changer, and it's advantage, and that's what, I'm excited about my prep, and, not thinking too much out there, and just going out there and trust my instincts and balling. That's what I'm excited about. For everybody to see.
Now, does that VR feel real? I mean, like, are you like, whoa, what's going on? I mean, how crazy is that? I can only imagine. It could be kind of like a video game, I would think.
Definitely.
In some form.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Because when you get your practice reps, you get a certain amount of practice reps. The starters will probably get, in a period, probably 8. Then, second string will get like 5 or 4 and things like that. So there's only a limited amount of reps and limited amount of looks. So, in the VR, you can get a limited amount, so you can get there. You can be on it for an hour, 2 hours, and just go through it mentally. And that's the biggest thing about quarterback play, is you have to go through every single scenario in each play, mentally in your head. So when you see it in the game, you might not know what you're about to what you're about to get before the play, but once you can identify it, you already know what to do. And especially with Coach Petrino, he has all the answers, and defenses. So all I got to do is, get my teammates in the right place. So
I can't wait to see you play again, and we're
oh,
going to have a
sure.
great season. We've been pumped up all year, ever since the Liberty Bowl. Quinn and I always talk about it, what the season's going to be like. But before we let you go, just a couple more things. We talked some about the receivers, but we had to visit with Braylon. He's a serious young man, big and strong. We hadn't got to meet Mike Washington Jr. yet, but we know he's really
Mm-hmm.
good. You got Rodney. Talk about those guys behind you, because we know they're very important. Just like the offensive line's critical to you, but those backs got to help you too.
I'll say one word: they dogs. Actually, they hogs. Okay, my
Okay.
bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody sees, how explosive they are, in the run game, and I'm excited for everyone to see, what Mike has to offer. And, he's speed. That's one where I would describe him. But at the same time, they do whatever it takes to win too. If in the passing game, if somebody's coming free, they gonna step in front, and I have full trust in them, and they're obviously in the summer workouts, they drenched in sweat, but they still continue to work hard and continue to go 100%, and that just speaks volumes to their desire, and you can't teach desire, you can't teach hard
No.
work. And that's just something that's installed, and it's great to see that.
Hey, Taylen, last one for me, man. I know that you're the leader on this ball club, but your Bible study that you put together has been really good for this football team. A lot of people talk about it. Just talk about bringing people together and off the field.
Oh, for sure. I mean, first off, I don't want to take none of the credit. First the credit is, it's all glory to Jesus. And shout out to Cross Church. They, blessed me with the opportunity to start one. And, I, prayed about it, but of course, just the blessing that it is to lead, a thing like that. And, just seeing God work in our team, just making it, of course, spiritual growth, but at the same time, just breaking bread. And we have a family, the Goads, they cook every single week. And, a football team, you hear food, okay.
Yeah.
Free food,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going. And even, people that are new to the faith or don't know a lot about it, I'm like, anyone's welcome. And I just want to, be that light, and there's bigger, it's bigger than football. And, I'm a true believer in living in purpose. And my purpose, I know, is to glorify, Jesus in everything that I do. So.
I love that. That is great. And Randy Goad and his wife, they are great people.
They are
For
great.
sure. Yeah. And that's nice that they've done that in the time they've put in and effort. And I love that for you. And you have obviously, as Quinn said, the leader of this team. And we got a lot of good leaders. That's one thing Coach Souders told me as well. This team's got more than one leader. There's a lot of leaders. And so Cam
Definitely.
Paul and Xavier and everybody and Stephen Dix. So it's awesome to watch. You've been great. And we're looking forward to watching you play August the 30th. We're going to be pulling for you every step of the way. We're excited for the season. Taylen Green, you're going to have an awesome season ahead. We can't wait.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Go Hogs.
All right, Z and Terrence, we get ready to wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily. Taylen Green, one of my favorites. I mean, like when you talk about a humble cat that has all the athletic ability in the world, who has great parents, who has his head on straight, one of the best guys out there. And I hope and pray that he has the success that he wants to have on the field this season. If Arkansas is going to be as good as we need to be, Taylen Green, Z, is going to have to be the guy that's going to have to be the straw that's going to stir that drink.
Yeah, hopefully all's flowing well for him, staying healthy, so critical for any football player. But that positive mental attitude that he seems to have so good right now. The whole package out of Taylen. And need a big season, as you said, from him, a tremendous season. But he seems very, very in line and ready to have that great season. You got to do it on the field. You can't do it talking about it. But he has shown on the field how good he can be. And again, we're just right there. Let's go to the next level with him. And it could be a special, special season for Taylen Green.
Yeah, speaking of the next level, get on over there and watch Taylen Green Next Level, episode 3 tonight. Get on out there and check it out. Well, all right, Z and Tara, that's how we'll wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily, Sport and Story production. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmerman, and we'll talk tomorrow.